Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. We are here to do a September what sold video. So as a part-time reseller, it is always so important for me to be constantly reevaluating what I'm selling, what I'm not selling, what's selling well, what's maybe not selling well. So we're gonna go through last month's sales to see exactly that. What went well and maybe what didn't. I obviously am not going to have time in this video to go through every single sale with you, but I picked out 5 items in 5 different categories that we'll talk through, and then we'll go through all of the total numbers for my month at the very end of the video. I think this is important as a part-time reseller. Maybe you're a part-time reseller, maybe you're thinking about it, maybe you're a full-time reseller. For me to just be transparent about what's maybe even in the realm of possible. Maybe you're a much bigger seller than me, which is fantastic. I'm happy you're here. And maybe you're a smaller seller than me and you can get some tips and tricks and inspiration from this type of video. That's always at least true for me when I watch other people's videos. So today in this video, the 5 categories I picked out, we're gonna go through my 5 fastest sales, 5 sales from the Goodwill grand opening. I've been having lots of stuff selling, but I picked out 5 of the really good shoe sales. We're gonna go through 5 of my worst sales because I'm always here to be transparent with you guys, good, bad, and the ugly. And we'll go through 5 random sales. I like to put in like personal items I sold or some hard goods just for kicks. And then of course we will round out the video with the 5 best sales I had this month. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, I know a lot of people sometimes think they're subscribed when they're watching, but then you take a look and that subscribe button isn't actually clicked. So please take a quick minute. I am on my way to 15,000 subscribers, which is just so amazing. So thank you if you are already subscribed. And if you're not, please just click that little button. All right, without any further ado, let's dive right into the sales because that is why y'all are here. So also, I haven't apologized for my squeaky chair in a while. It is an antique chair that I recovered, so I'm very sorry. I'm going to try to sit still so it doesn't squeak all throughout the video, but it drives me crazy when I'm editing, so I'm sorry for those of you that are watching. Okay, let's go through 5 of my fastest sales. I had a lot of really fast sales, so I just picked 5 of my favorite that all sold in a day or less than a day. And this was not necessarily on purpose, but 4 out of the 5 of them are also from the Goodwill grand opening because that is the majority of what I listed last month. So you're going to see that featured all throughout this video. First was these Pack spread leggings. These were actually a cropped style. I like picking up the brand Packed. It sells pretty well for me. It doesn't have a super high resale value, but it usually sells fairly quickly. So these sold on Poshmark. I accepted an offer for $20. I got them at the Goodwill grand opening. Average cost of goods was $6.28. That's going to be a theme in this video. And sold in less than a day, and I made $9.72. So okay, only a $10 profit. This is where I'm going to have my little spiel about like know your business model and what works for you. For me and my business model, that works for me. Making a $10 profit on something that was so easy to photograph and list that I can flip in a day, I'm happy with that. I will do that all day long. Next, also from that same grand opening haul, were these Carhartt relaxed jeans. They were almost like a gray wash style. I was surprised getting to pick these up because I know there were a ton of people, like the vintage bros at that grand opening, that were looking for stuff like this. I don't think this pair was vintage. Maybe why they didn't pick them up, but they performed fine for me. So these sold on Poshmark for $25. Got them at that sale for $6.28. Also listed for less than a day, and I made $13.72. So I'm not going to spend a ton on Carhartt, especially modern day Carhartt. Obviously the vintage stuff is going to be the best category. They're big work coats, some of like the devil knee pants, if you can find overalls, like that kind of stuff, anything of like the canvas. But yeah, they're $14 for these, selling in a day. I was pretty happy with that. Next one also really surprised me because I sold that Noble, which Noble usually is known for their shoes, but I found a camo sports bra. It was in excellent condition. It was in a size extra large, and this sold on eBay for $21.59. Also got at that sale. Average cost of goods was $6.29 or $6.28. I'm sorry, but I only paid $2 or $3 for this. Listed for less than a day, and I made $11.45. Don't worry, we have some bigger bangers later on in the video that sold for more, but these bread and butter items that are selling fast, I'm not mad at. Okay, the 4th one I have on my list, I did not get at that specific haul, but if you remember, if you watch the channel, I went to 2nd Avenue, which is the biggest thrift store near me. I picked these up there. These were some kids' Bogs rainbow style boots. Bogs are possibly my favorite winter snow boot to sell. I love selling them. They always sell so fast for me. These sold on Poshmark for $25. Got them at that 2nd Avenue store for $4.45 that day, and I made $15.55. If you are like really good at memory, I picked up another pair of Bogs kids boots that day. Those also sold in like 2 or 3 days, and those sold for $27. So really good pickups on those. And then lastly, rounding out the 5 fastest sales category was a great sale because it was this J. Crew schoolboy blazer. Schoolboy blazer for J. Crew is amazing. Please, please, please pick them up if you find them. They have them in a variety of materials, colors, and styles. Wool is going to be your best bet. And this one was a herringbone style, so I think it was a bit more rare, probably more desirable, very preppy, very academic, all of those keywords. And this sold in a day on Poshmark for my full listing price of $75. Also got at that grand opening, I picked up quite a few blazers, and 2 of them were the schoolboy blazers from J. Crew, and the other one sold really well also from J. Crew in like 2 or 3 days. So both sold well, but this one sold faster. Average cost of goods was $6.28 that day, sold in less than a day, and I made $53.72. If you remember, or if you didn't see the video, I spent over $600 at that Goodwill grand opening sale for over $800 worth of items because I had a 20% off coupon, which is a big investment. That's the most I've ever spent in one store in one haul. But as you can see, I am literally still listing everything. I finally have everything processed in my spreadsheet. Everything is photographed and almost everything is listed, but I still have some that I'm listing daily. And I'm already making sales that are making that $600 back. I don't have the total number right now of how much I've already made back into that, but I have 108 items, and even by selling a few of them, I've already made hundreds of dollars back. Okay, let's go into the grand opening category that we have here. So I picked out 5 of the shoes because those were the first things I listed. That was the first batch of things to get photographed. They were also, if you watch the video, most of these are the first things I grabbed that day. So the first thing on my list are the Hoka Gaviota 5. Those were the blue Hokas that I found. They sold on Poshmark for $52. Got them for $6.28. These were listed for 8 days, and I made $33.82. I found 2 other pairs of Hokas that day. Those have not yet sold, but they've been getting a lot of attention, so I expect that they will sell soon. Also picked up a pair of black on-running men's shoes. These were the Cloud Go. They were in beautiful, like new condition. These also went through authenticity guarantee on eBay. No issues. The buyer likes them. And they sold on eBay for $50. Obviously got them at Goodwill for that $6.28. These also sold in just a day, and I made $36.45. I don't find good condition on clouds that often. This is only, I think, the second time I've sold them, but I was excited to have finally found them again. Okay, next, also in basically brand new condition, were these Teva boots. These were the Wraith 3 style men's boots. They were a large size, I think maybe like a 13. These sold on eBay for $39.60. Average cost of goods, say it with me, was $6.28. These sold also after 8 days, and I made $30.62. Also got positive feedback. The buyer really, really liked those. The next ones just make me smile because these were those Crocs Siren Clogs. They were like a bright pink, huge platform wedge style. The cashier, when I checked out, was like, oh my gosh, I'm the one that put these out, and I was so excited to see who was going to buy them. So hopefully somebody loves them. They sold on eBay for $40, $6.28 average cost of goods. These sold after 9 days, and I made $25.97. Then the last one on my list here were those Sorel Joan of Arctic boots, the tall black suede winter boots, sold on Poshmark for $67. I had them listed at $75. Someone accepted my 10% off offer with discounted shipping. Got them at Goodwill for $6.28. These were listed for 10 days, and I made $45.82, which I was pretty excited about that one out of this whole list because I was worried those were going to sit. Sorel has been slowing down for me and sitting longer. So I was very excited to move those out, especially since they were really big and really bulky. I also, just off the top of my head, I don't have them as one of my 5, but I have also sold the Kate Spade slides. I have also sold those like wool, the Geisswein wool running shoes. I've sold one of the Merrells that I picked up, the hiking sneakers, boots, and I think 1 or 2 more. So the shoes have been doing great, and all of them had a lot of attention. All right, here's the part of the video that I hate. It's the worst part, but we got to do it. We got to learn. I got to eat my pride, and I got to do better. That's the point of this. Let's go through 5 of my worst sales. I don't know for sure if these are my absolute worst sales this month, but these were the ones that like annoyed me the most to make this list. And the first is this Michael Stars gray long sleeve t-shirt, basically. Michael Stars sells for me, but it's never going to sell for a lot. Like if I can pick it up really cheap, free, something like that, I will still, but I'm not spending up for it anymore. This sold on eBay finally for $12.16. I had purchased it at 2nd Avenue. My average cost of goods was $5.62 that day. It was listed for 547 days, but guys, I made $2.77 on this one. Yay! Next was this Adriana Papel pink blouse. It had like a French dot pattern on it. I only listed this because I got it for free. I used to pick up Adriana Papel like shirts and stuff at the bins, and they would sell. And then I've started leaving those behind entirely. I still pick up the dresses some of the time, not all of the time. But this sold on eBay for $10. I thankfully got it for free in like a group of items I got for myself, but this one didn't fit me. So I did list it, $0 cost of goods, sat for 357 days, and I made $7.56. But ironically, I just did another 50-cent haul at one of my favorite stores, and I did pick up an Adriana Papel blouse, but it is a cute style, it's a larger size, and it is new with tags. And I only spent 50 cents. So hopefully I don't regret that decision. But we will see. Okay, the next one, I kind of stand behind this purchase despite it being on my list. And that's why I wanted to put it on my list, is like I can pick up items that at the end of the day, I still think, yep, that was a good pickup, even though it sold poorly. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, but the rest of the data still supports me picking up this brand sometimes. But let me stop talking and tell you what it is. This is a Masuk black open front cardigan. It had pretty sequins down the front. What this has going against it is it's a smaller size. I do struggle to sell Masuk in like extra small, small and medium. It is definitely more of a mature brand, which usually brings an audience in like the large and plus size categories. But I have sold it before. Honestly, if I found this today, I probably would still pick it up, but I am being more selective. I wouldn't pay up for it. This eventually sold on eBay for $20. When I do sell Masuk, it is more often, if not always, on eBay than on Poshmark. If you're solely a Poshmark buyer, I'd be really careful, or I would leave it behind unless it's super new and super substantial. I paid $6.30 average cost of goods at Prime Thrift for this one, listed for 369 days, which at least is one of my favorite numbers, and I made $7.52. So, okay, the next one is a brand that is bread and butter for me, and I like picking it up when it's cheap, but not this, apparently. These were Uniqlo jeans, and they were like a slim, skinny, distressed style. Just couldn't get them to sell. So these eventually sold on eBay for $10. Got them at 2nd Avenue for $5.62. Listed for 531 days, and I made $1.51 on this. So I will grab Uniqlo when it is bins, when it's like linen or wool or a better material, because they do have some higher end basics. Yeah, so I stand behind the brand when I can get it cheap. I should never have paid up at like a normal thrift store like this type of store is. And last in this category, I know I did in a ship with me, so it might sound familiar, but these were those Talia, like a gray blue wingtip Oxford shoe. These ended up selling on eBay for $22.50. Got them at Goodwill, but my average cost of goods was $7.36. These took 496 days to sell, and I made $12.53 on paper. But my average cost of goods being $7.36 helped me because I think I paid like $12 or $15 for these. So especially if you were to calculate like my actual profit, it was much lower than this. It was definitely below $10. So this brand, I just wanted to warn you against. Be careful. I sold a new with tags, like blue polka dot blazer from this brand, and it sold for like 55. It might have been 75. It sold well. So I'm not trying to tell you not to pick up this brand, but do comps on the specific item. Don't be brand blind because these shoes did not perform well. That moves us into some 5 random sales. You might have seen 1 or 2 of these in my Ship With Me's. The first one I like to share, and you guys seem to enjoy hearing. I always get these comments. A bundle of my son's baby clothes. These were 3 to 6 months. Just a variety of, there was like a sleeper, there was some shorts, there was some onesies, or don't use onesies on eBay, bodysuits. Onesie is a Vero because onesie is a brand, not an item. So bodysuit. And these sold on Poshmark for $21. They were, average cost of goods obviously was $0 to me. They were all given to me at some point. These were listed for 151 days, and I made $15.30. So there was 10 items in the bundle. I made $1.50 basically an item, which is great. That's more than my Once Upon a Child would have given me for each one of these items. I probably would have gotten like 50 to 75 cents for a baby item. And these were all things Once Upon a Child had passed on multiple times. In decent condition, but not excellent condition, obviously. Okay, next was this Scentsy warmer that I picked up at the thrift store that does the 50 cents and dollar days. I also had paired some Scentsy melts that I had gotten free in like our neighborhood group thing and never had used. So I paired that together just to add, to the bundle a little bit, make it a little bit more marketable. And this sold on Poshmark for $21. My average cost of goods at the thrift that day for all of the non-clothing items, the clothing items are 50 cents or $1 depending on the day. And then everything else in the store is usually 50 cents or 50% off. Average cost of goods was $3.93, listed for 143 days, and I made $11.37. I have another Scentsy warmer from that same haul that hasn't yet sold, just FYI. I see them a lot. I don't pick them up a lot. I only spent like $1 or $2 on this. I would have left it behind in other circumstances. Next one just has a soft spot in my heart. It was this macrame clutch purse handbag. This was my grandmother's. I've spoken about my grandma before on the channel, that she passed a couple years ago, and the family obviously went through items and distributed accordingly, and then at the end of it, everything was going to Goodwill. So my family that knows what I do was like, hey, do you want to take anything else to resell it? Because I wasn't planning on reselling any of her items. So I took some of her clothes and purses and bags. And I put this in a comment recently, but I don't think I've said this specifically on my channel. My grandma loved antiquing, thrifting. Like, she is where I get all of this. Like, my aunt owned a antique store that I would go when I was young and kind of help her tag items and different things. And that's really where all of this comes from. And so my grandma would be so happy to know that her items didn't just get dumped in a landfill or, dumped at a thrift store, and that the extra items that were going to just be donated are supporting me and my kids and my family. So every time something sells, there's only a couple items left. I didn't take that many things. Anytime something sells, I'm just like, thank you, Grandma. I love you. It just means a lot to me, even if they don't sell much. So sorry. Thank you for listening to my little story time there. But this sold on eBay for $23.99. It was obviously free to me. It was vintage. It was unbranded. This, I was actually surprised took as long as it to sell as it did. It was very like cottagecore prairie. I used all those keywords, but it took a while. It took 499 days to sell, but I did end up making $19.66. So thank you, Grandma. I love you. Next really random grab from the bins was this DC Comics belt. It was a buckle down belt, like the ones that have the seat belts. DC Comics, it had all of it had like the Flash and Superman. Gosh, I'm gonna get them all wrong. I don't want people to yell at me in the comments. I know all the Marvel characters. I'm much worse at the DC characters. Green Lantern, I think, was on it. This sold on eBay for $12.96. It didn't have great comps, but honestly, I like grabbing random accessories at the bins when I can actually find them. Average cost of goods that day was $1.95, but it was only listed for 46 days, and I made $8.48. I also grabbed a Harry Potter Ravenclaw one that hasn't yet sold, so we'll see. And then lastly, for this random category, I sold a pair of Avon lotions, like vintage, probably. I didn't use the word vintage, but definitely discontinued lotions. They were the Unplugged line and completely still sealed in packaging. Sold on eBay for $11.99. These I had also gotten from a random bunch of things from my local Facebook page, and I didn't need them, so I ended up listing them. $0 to me. But these were listed for 947 days. I think these were also in a ship with me. And I made $10.30. But I'm just happy. Anytime I have those random hard good-ish type items, I'm just very glad to get them out. Because the storage is different, then it's, you know, harder than my clothes and my bins and everything. So, all right, now for the fun part. Let's go through my five best sales of the month. I think that last month, the August video that I did, I said like I had some good sales, but nothing like big bangers. I had a couple that I would consider, at least for me, kind of big bangers. So let's chat through them. I'm going to go from highest sale to highest sale, if that makes sense. Okay. So first are this pair of Doc Martens men's Oxford. I'm sorry if any of these sound familiar from my weekly what solds or ship with me's, but these I got at that 50% off sale at 2nd Avenue. These were in the glass case up front, if you remember from the Thrift With Me footage. These sold on eBay for $68. My average cost of goods that day was only $4.45. However, I did pay $30 for these, so just know that. But I kind of accidentally averaged them into everything else. Usually something like that that's an outlier, I would have put in my spreadsheet as $30 and then average cost of good did everything else. That's obviously not a verb, but we're gonna roll with it. But I forgot to do that, and even because I got so many items, even with those worked in, my average cost of goods was still only $4.45. These sold after only 2 days, and I made $57 on these. So even if you pretend like those had actually been $30 cost of goods, I still made like $30, so a double up on those, which I'm happy with. Okay, next was this Frank and Eileen black tunic. Love, love, love Frank and Eileen. Rarely ever find Frank and Eileen. If you're not familiar with it, please get familiar with it. This sold on eBay for $75. That was an offer I accepted. I also got this at the local free swap meet for absolutely $0. And when I say this was about to be put in a bag to be donated, it was about to be put in a bag to be donated. Like, the event was basically over, and I was going through the last, like they have tarps out on the floor and you go through items. I was like scrambling to find a few more things as they were coming with bags to put everything away. And she was like on my tarp, like the other items on the tarp were being shoved in the bag. So I got this item and then I closed up my stuff and then I helped them gather everything up, because I usually always try to help after the event, help them clean everything up. It's the least I can do. So yeah, I cannot believe this was the last thing I found that day. I think because this was a black item and it had a black tag with black print, everybody missed it. Or nobody just wanted a black tunic, because most people are there just shopping for style. But I could feel it immediately that it was good quality. So I made sure to take a good look at the tag, and I'm so glad that I did. This sold after 8 days, and I made $60.28 on that item. Next was this pair of Free People Frontier boots. These sold on Poshmark for $80. That I think was also an offer I accepted. I picked these up in Thriftsmiths in July, the day I found all the shoes in the new shoe carts. So this one at Goodwill that day, I did not average in with everything else. I actually paid $15, so I have $15 for my bookkeeping. These sold in 54 days, and I made $49. All right, these ones were a really great sale, but took the longest of everything else in this category. And it was these Sam Edelman Pierce tall boots. Now, Sam Edelman, I know, is a brand that a lot of people pass. And I sometimes pass and sometimes pick it up. I'm trying to be more selective because, like, yeah, these right here are Sam Edelman, and I thought they were adorable, and I paid Goodwill price of like $10 or $12 for these, and these have been sitting for like a year or two, and I don't know why I've discounted them. So I'm trying to be careful because I have some Sam Edelman listed. But these sold on Poshmark for $95. I think, lowered the price and relisted them recently, and then they sold full price, which I could not believe. Also, the best part about these, I got these at the bins the one and only time I've done a coin flip for a pair of shoes. I found one pair and I saw that somebody else had another pair. She was like, hey, do you want to flip a coin? And I was like, sure. And I won the coin flip. This was in a video like a while back for any like really loyal viewers that happen to remember that. And so I got these in the bins in Colorado Springs when I was visiting my sister. So she was with me in that video. But these were listed for 245 days. So they were tall, they were annoying to kind of store, but it ended up being worth it because I made $74.06. And yes, I put these in my suitcase all the way back to Maryland to get them home. And last but not least, my best sale of the month based on sell price and based on profit gained were these Veronica Beard leather clogs. If you watched my Thriftmas in July series, you saw me find these and I was thrilled. I have only found Veronica Beard less than 5 times, just a handful of times, and it has always been at that one Goodwill store. I don't know why. I found a beautiful blue blazer, and I remember finding like a tank top, and I remember finding these. These sold on eBay for $115. I got them at Goodwill. My average cost of goods that day was $7.15. They had these priced at $12.29, which was amazing. And only listed for 49 days, and I made $85.83. These also, I didn't realize in store, I wasn't too concerned about it, had like the slightest mark on the front of them. Not like a scratch into the leather, but you know when they're indented just enough that it doesn't like pop back out, but it's also not scratched. I don't know if that's making any sense. But I explained it to the best of my abilities in the description, took close-up pictures, so I wasn't sure how much that would inhibit the sale, but they still performed very well even without that, because like if you're any more than like a foot away from them, you can't see it. So I would still wear them with that for sure. Okay, let's go through my total sales for the month. I had 182 sales in the month of September 2025. And just for fun, 105 of those were on Poshmark and 77 of those were on eBay. So Poshmark continues to be my best selling platform. I do promote on Poshmark and on eBay, and eBay has been like getting closer and closer to being equal with Poshmark, but Poshmark still continues to beat it out. My average sale price for the month was $30.51, which is great. My total sales were $5,552.22. And my total profit, so that is everything after promoted listings, shipping, discounted shipping, sales, all the things except for taxes, which I do at the end of the year, was $3,378.67. Very excited about that. I think I mentioned in my previous video last month that getting above 3,000 is a bit rare for me. I'm usually in the high 2,000s. So I'm very, very, very excited with that. I've had a really strong October so far also. I've been listing really consistently. I get this question on my channel a lot. So for anyone that's wondering, I list at least 5 items a day. Like never do I miss a day. It's very, very, very rare. And more I'm listing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more items than that. Or at least once or twice a week I'm listing additional items. And then I relist 20 items. I remove and sell similar 20 items on eBay every single day. And then Poshmark is hit or miss because I'm still scared of their new listing policy. So I do 5 or 10 items every few days on Poshmark. I used to do 20 before they changed their policy. So I think that's really helping. I've gotten some good inventory in. Obviously, we've had some good hauls and thrift with me's on the channel, so I've been blessed to find some good inventory. I also have a couple more exciting videos coming up. I'm going to film one probably either right after this or tomorrow with another one of my 50-cent hauls, which are always a lot of fun to show you. So thank you so much for watching. If you're working during this, good job. That's fantastic. You're getting your stuff done. If you're not and you're just enjoying, that's also fine too. But don't forget to get your listings done today. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.